I don't know if it's time for bed or not.
Not quite.
I have to ask.
No, really. No volunteers.
Well, they won't.
Do they understand the impact of their decisions?
Like, they'll serve.
That's what this next story's about.
They'll serve if I ask them to and they are available. However, they don't.
What?
Your spoon on the bowl.
Go. I want to serve on this day. Put
David will
me
deal
down
with it.
Unprompted.
I'll try to make my spoon not clean.
Okay.
Says that she clicks it 3 more times.
No, look, see?
Welcome to Grandpa Hill's True Stories. These stories are for my children, my grandchildren, and all children. I am talking right now to 3 of my grandchildren. They're all girls, and they're going to hear about making life decisions and what my opinion about it is and how to do it and how important it is. So we start out with, did you know I am a child of God?
Yes.
Yeah, you knew
I
that.
didn't know that, yes.
And I know another really important secret. I am aware that what I do, what I say, where I go will have an impact on other people. Seems real simple, but a lot of times we act like it won't. Even like not volunteering. It has an impact. Everything you do. So sometimes an impact will go on and on and on for all time. So I'm Don Hill, Grandpa to you. First, a child of God. And second, I'm aware of how much my actions and how my life matters to the future. We believe, Grandma and I, that we are into something good, very, very good on having children make good, life-changing and shaping decisions. The children are grown, and they too are children of God. They too are aware of how important their actions and their decisions are. The concept of being a child of God first and being aware of how much you matter to each other, how much they matter, my children, to their spouses, to their families, cannot be overstated as a valuable concept for true success in life. So you can make some decisions along the way, like not to volunteer, like Leah was saying. You can make decisions to whine.
I would like to clarify that I was complaining about other people not volunteering.
Okay. We might cut that part. You can decide. You can decide to whine. You can decide to say a kind word. You can decide to play a game, and you can decide to cut Leah's defense of her situation. So
when you said it, it made it sound like I wasn't volunteering.
You can decide who you're going to hang around with, and it makes a difference about who you'll end up being, how you will affect other people, how you will behave when threatened. Your decisions will be made. You're going to make life-changing decisions. Whether you make the right ones or not, you'll be making them. So you will decide on a vocation. The bishop talked about that last night, encouraging you to consider religious life. And knowing most of your people there, the young people there being confirmed, would likely choose marriage as a vocation. As you try to figure out what you will do right now, today, and with the next situation you are in, always remember how important it is to the future, your family's future. We all know that. It's often even important to the lives of others you do not know, others that haven't been born yet, what you do today. Our children, Grandma and I's, your aunts and uncles, your mother, they're proof of the concept working. So Patricia, that's your mom, she pursued a teaching degree in special education. She, with Jesse, your dad, have 7 children. She homeschools, works at the church. She reaches out to the Norfolk community with her experience in a La Leche League. Patricia has kept her Catholic faith. She is, of all things, first, a child of God. And second, aware of how her actions affect the future. Brian, he was good at everything. He decided to be an engineer. He took a high-paying job for less than a year and paid off the student debt in the first payment, then quit his job and married Andrea. He has 3 children. Those are a lot of decisions, life-changing decisions. Bang, bang, bang. They weren't exactly what I advised either. He does program management for BAE's largest customer, Boeing. The children attend Catholic schools in Fort Wayne. When Brian was young, he considered becoming a priest. Now his oldest son, Joe, is in a minor seminary discerning God's call for him to be a Catholic priest. Brian has kept his faith. He is a child of God first and knows how important his actions are to the future of family, friends, coworkers, and people he does not know. Amy, she detested college. She excelled at art and singing at a very young age. She married Michael, and she homeschools their 3 children. She helps at the atrium at St. John's. She has kept her Catholic faith. She has a rock-solid identity as a child of God. So aware of what she does and says makes a difference, not just with her children. Aunt Rebecca, as a child, loved horses, considered careers with them. Imagine that, a career with a horse. And opted for a degree in teaching the deaf. After teaching for 1 year, she decided on a different vocation. She was going to take vows as a religious sister in the Dominican Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist. How did she know? How did she decide? What motivated her? Maybe ask her sometime. I know that she knows that she truly is a child of God first. She has kept her Catholic faith. We consider that Jesus is her spouse. Now she has the name of Sister Teresa Paul. Using the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, she teaches grade school children at St. Michael's the Archangel in Columbus, Ohio. She is affecting students, and she is aware of how important what she does is to our futures, the futures of thousands. Andrew wanted to get a trade. He chose welding and went to Triangle Tech. Later, he went further by training and got a certification as a weld inspector. He welds for a company called Versatech. He married Rachel. They have 4 boys and a little baby girl. They homeschool them. He has kept his Catholic faith and now is a leader in trail life. He knows as a child of God, he is affecting the future through his boys and directly to other men and boys in trail life. He doesn't and maybe never will know how far his impact will travel. Mary Therese, she decided at the age of 19 to become a religious sister. She is fully professed Capuchin Sister of Nazareth. Sister Margaret. She prays a lot, begs for needs and dental care and things like that, gives retreats for first communicants, confirmation candidates, and young women considering a religious vocation. Decisions. How do these children of mine make such decisions and choices? I believe it has to do with their rock-solid disposition as children of God, that are keenly aware of the importance of what they do, who they are, and how they interact with the world. Uncle Michael at 19, he married Christina, who was 19. At the time, he did HVAC work, working on air conditioners and heaters. After marriage, he decided to start a nursing career with his eyes set to someday be working as a nurse anesthetist. Now he is a nurse anesthetist. He does have, with Tina, 5 children, and he knows he is a child of God, and beyond the operating room, he knows his impact on his children, me, and the trailmen and leaders in trail life. John, the last of the 8 children, took a job at the age of 15. Auto body work. How do you know that? I don't even know if that was a good decision, but through his experience, training, and YouTube videos, he got to be really good at what he does. He paints and repairs car bodies to earn income. He decided to marry Catherine nearly 3 years ago. They have a son, Matthias, and daughter, Magdalene. They want to build up the Catholic community in our area and are getting started with efforts to provide affordable housing to young married couples. He charges forward as he lives. He decides, he adjusts, and flourishes as a child of God, and his impact is occurring and growing, whether he knows it or not. 8 students making decisions for the future, 8 children, religious vocations, trades, college degrees, happy marriages, children, 25 children, 25 grandchildren, and interested in helping their community. How did this happen? And it's still happening. Why did we succeed in helping them make decisions for the future? Why are they succeeding so well?
Because they know that they're children of God.
Yeah, it says right here, let my audience answer. Good. And they know how important, how big the impact is. They never are thinking like, this isn't worth it. Like changing a diaper. Like, this isn't worth it. That isn't even in their brains. Okay? Which it seems like that's an obvious to you, but there's a lot of people that's a big deal. I'll tell you about the guys at work. Okay? So, the identity for the person is first and primarily, I am a child of God. My children are children of God. Each of us created, not accidental, and with a purpose. We trained our children that they were children of God. Special, unique, no one is like you. We learned together, all of us. We are not what we do. What are you? I'm an engineer. No, I'm a child of God. Okay? I could ask her. What are you? I'm mom. Child of God first. Yes, you're mom, but you're child of God first. Because things can happen where you don't get to be mom anymore. Because you guys pass away. Heaven forbid. You wouldn't want that. But terrible things can happen where you no longer are what you do. Because you can't do it anymore. And as an example of that, I went to the Air Force Academy as a cadet. I was really a cadet. I was not a child of God first. I was a cadet. I was asked to leave the school for honor code things. But I felt at that time that I was nothing. Because what I had been, I wasn't anymore. Because my identity was not being a child of God. So I wasn't me anymore. Because I'm not a cadet. So I wasn't sure who I was. And bad decisions started to pile up fast. Fortunately, that's not how I stayed. Other people helped me see, and I did see that I was a child of God. And you may need help somewhere along the way, too. What I do and say makes a difference, way beyond being a cadet, way beyond being husband, father, and grandfather. It makes so much difference. And it seems unrealistic, or even foolish to think so, that just the smallest things you do, or not even the small things, even the big things you do, like, you don't have any idea what's going to happen with it. You don't. So I'm going to tell you a story about a little boy. I'm going to tell you 2 stories about George. All right. So one of the stories is about a little boy named George. And you might think it's foolish that George could make much of a difference because he started out that he was half dead, dying of pneumonia, no parents. And he ends up changing the world in a way that billions of people are alive today because of him. Such a little boy actually existed. His name was George. George, as he grew, knew he was a child of God. He even labeled himself and considered himself a servant of God. He grew up to think of himself as a servant. George's simple actions changed all of mankind forever, both directly by his efforts and the people he helped along the way. It all affected hundreds of millions of people. You see, George was a 19-year-old student. This is how this effect happened. A 19-year-old student in college would babysit. You ever babysit? Yeah. Well, this is babysitting made a big difference. Babysitting jobs for him was taking care of little Henry, little boy named Henry. George takes care of Henry at botanical expeditions, on botanical expeditions, which means George takes Henry outside in the woods and in the garden and teaches him about the plants and about the fruits and about the seed. Henry learns to be excited as a little boy about and understand plants. George gets him interested, and it never fades. Later, Henry becomes the Vice President of the United States. And Henry is instrumental in opening a facility in Mexico to develop agriculture. His interest. That facility in Mexico hires a man named Norman. Norman proceeds to develop hybrid disease-resistant seeds for wheat and corn that will grow in arid environments. Norman's seeds are considered to have saved billions of people. To this day, people credit Norman, pure and simple. I say, not so. Norman didn't come out of thin air and run down to Mexico and develop new crops. No, Norman's the vice president. I got it wrong again.
Henry's the vice president.
No, Henry is the vice president.
Henry. Oh, you're right. I had it right that time. I say not so. Norman didn't come out of thin air and run down to Mexico and develop new crops. I credit Norman, yes, and Henry and George and George's parents. Remember, their adoptive parents. What they did mattered to billions of people. Norman got to see the results of his efforts. You may not. You may not get to see the results of your help, but that doesn't make those results any less real or less important. They matter. You don't get to see all this. Let's take it one more step. Just like I don't get to see what happens to you after hearing this story. I do get to see in the short term, a little bit, indirectly from you and your mom. But I don't actually get to see what you become because I'll be gone. So, George's adoptive parents, they took a stand against slavery, and they lost much, gave up much for their decision to adopt and raise George. They even gave up George eventually so he could go to school. He had to leave home. They, Sarah and Moses, traded a horse for a cold, half-dead infant little George. They traded with the marauders that had already killed George's mother. Did Sarah and Moses Carter have any idea that what they did for little George Washington Carver would matter so much to the world? It was part of saving and become part of saving billions from starvation. Did George Washington Carver have any clue, any awareness that his method of babysitting Henry Wallace would affect Henry's decision and actions as Vice President of the United States? And that Norman Borlaug would develop that hybrid seed and would change the world? Do you see how all these people mattered? What they did, the sacrifices, the attention, the time that they devoted mattered. What they did mattered, and they had no idea how it mattered. George just did it because he was the servant of God. That's the way he behaved when he was 19. I think we'll skip the rest of that about George. So what you say, what you do, where you go today, what you do after this story, what you talk about right after the story. Your actions matter to hundreds, if not millions of people you don't even know. There you have it, our formula, Grandma and me. The key features that I believe are behind our living proofs, our children, of successful children, of how to help them make decisions for the future, good decisions, is simply get it established in their core, in their identity, that they are children of God. And that what they do and how they act really makes a difference. Get that awareness. So now the last story, which is also about George. This is about my favorite movie. It's called It's a Wonderful Life. So in this story, George Bailey is pretty down. His savings and loan company is busted. A huge deposit was lost. George will likely go to jail. He has let everybody down. He did not live the life he wanted. He was going to go places, do things, get out of the little town of Bedford Falls. He was going to be somebody. In his despair, George comes to believe, and he states that it would have been better if he had never been born. Well, God sends his angel in that movie, Clarence, to spend some time showing George Bailey how his actions mattered. God lets George see what Bedford Falls would be like if there was no George. So Bedford Falls becomes a cesspool of vice. The happy families are gone. This is what happens with George not there. The housing available is a slum. His little brother wasn't saved by George because George wasn't born. Instead, George's little brother died young, did not go to war and save soldiers in a decisive battle. All these effects from George, the guy who couldn't see that he was worth it, and what he did was worth it. Today, it's worth it. He wasn't aware that his good actions created good actions that created good actions that led to good decisions, a good wife with children that believed in God and the angels. There were good neighbors, affording good homes and having good jobs and good children. And at that time, he could not see it. So please remember, what you do today matters. Yesterday mattered. Every day matters. The more days and hours that you treat as though they mattered to others, the better the whole world will be. And it's yours to decide. With your identity clear as a child of God and with the awareness of how much it matters for everyone that your actions are right now. If what you have been doing recently is sloppy or slow or wasteful or whining, it has an effect on you, on your siblings, and on friends and others you don't even know yet. You can't go back and change the stuff you wished you hadn't done, but with your identity as a child of God and an awareness of how important your actions and decisions are to yourself, your family, and yes, possibly to the entire world, you can go forward and make better and better decisions. You will make the decisions for the future. You will make them. I don't know how they'll be, but you will make them. It is my belief that if you acknowledge and act like a child of God first, and you are aware of and trained to be aware of how what you do impacts others today and tomorrow and far into the future, even into the next generations that follow, then life becomes so exciting. You are never bored, and you are always being God's servant. Got it?
Yeah.
All right.